Rugby Championship Team of the Week for round number 5, folks. Potentially the most interesting round of the Rugby Championship thus far, just in terms of how close the games were. Both had kind of big swings of momentum. Certainly some outstanding performances. We'll go through 15 players who stood out at the weekend, and you guys can let us know your thoughts on who you would have if you were picking a Team of the Week. There'll be a bunch of stats for you fine folks as well. I am going to start with Oxen Chief from South Africa. In a losing shift, no one would be able to criticize this guy's performance because I thought he was pretty outstanding. Scrum time is certainly one of the big success areas of that game against the Pumas. And Ox was certainly a big part of that. He doesn't concede any penalties. I think Sclavi conceded like 4. I forget how many of them were at scrum time, but certainly Ox was bossing around the Pumas scrum, and he was busy around the park, old Ox. 9 carries, more than usual for him, for 25 metres and beats 4 defenders. That's the top South African for defenders beaten. And it's your loose head prop. Not bad. He even gets a clean break. What's he doing getting clean breaks? Big Ox. Must have been some cake in the stands that he could see, and he just wanted to get to that cake. Ox loves a bit of cake, and rightly so. No passes, but 2 from 3 tackles, 1 turnover conceded, so not totally perfect. But man, big scrum, big carries, big Ox. Gotta love big Ox. Tighthead prop, I ended up going with one of the Kiwi boys in Tyrell Lomax. I still feel like Razor maybe leaves him on a little bit too long. Needs to kind of plan the uses of the sub bench a bit better. I feel like it seemed like he was pretty reluctant to bring on Otosi, but Lomax, for the minutes he played, was also really busy. Certainly got on top at scrum time, I think especially in the second half. I think Slipper ended up conceding a couple, and Lomax himself didn't concede any, which is usually the sign that a prop is doing all right at scrum time. 4 carries, 2 metres, beats a defender. Ain't exactly Ox and Chi numbers from this week, but he was, having a couple of carries anyway. 3 passes, though. Ox didn't have any of those, so maybe chucking the ball around a bit more. 8 from 9 tackles is solid enough. So, yeah, big Tyrell Lomax. He's the guy that Razor has a lot of faith in. Rightly so. But I'd like to see him have a plan for like maybe an hour, 55 minutes, and then bring somebody else on. Tired legs and whatnot. But, big Tyrell. Hooker, and I'm going to go with another one of the Kiwi boys, and he has been pretty outstanding. There was a few people in various circles kind of critiquing this guy prior to the start of the Rugby Championship. Is this guy the best we got? What happened to Taukei'aho and whatnot? But Cody Taylor in the last few weeks has shown why he is still the first choice guy in the number 2 jersey for the All Blacks. 18 carries is massive. 59 metres means he's certainly getting some go-for ball, breaks a couple of tackles. 3 passes from big Cody Taylor this week. 8 from 10 tackles is fine. 9 from 10 would be better. 10 from 10 would be better again, but still it's all right. Wins a turnover. Does concede 1 penalty. Line-out is largely pretty solid, but yeah, Cody Taylor, man. He's a bit of a man possessed with ball in hand recently. Locks, I am going to go with one of the Bok guys again in old Ran Nokia. Continues to be the main target at line-out time. He wins 5 line-outs for the Boks this week. And I like the fact that he gets himself around the park and tends to just run hard all the time. Like there's one point where he has a big carry because he has 5 carries in the game for 20 metres, which is certainly get himself up the guts. Like one of the carries he has is the carry where Ben Jason Dixon pops it off the ground, and Norkie is the guy who catches that pass, gets it over the advantage line. The next phase, Creel's over for a try. So you need those guys running those support lines, getting them big bodies forward, even if it's only for a metre or 2, just to keep the gain line going forward and doesn't let the opposition defence set. He's good for that. And then like even when was it Mateo Carreras' try? He was clearly going in for a try, but Nokia was just chasing him. Like, if you give me a chance, I'll try to bust you into touch, or I'll try to knock the ball out your hands or something. Like, a lot of other guys just stop running, keeps running hard. So I like that kind of attitude. As I said, busy at line-out time with 5. He's got 7 from 11 tackles, so he's missed a few too many, but I think he's still one of the top South African tacklers in terms of his tackle count. 1 dominant tackle amongst that, 3 passes, a defender beaten, and a clean break. really busy guy around the paddock. So it's been one of the benefits of having so many locks out, is that this guy's been able to get some game time. All Black lock here in old Tupavai's continuing his good run of form. Wasn't so disruptive at line-out time this week as he has been in the past, but certainly busy around the park. 8 carries again from him for 22 metres is always a good return. He tends to have better than average lock numbers in terms of his go forward ball. Beats a defender, has a clean break, wins 3 lineouts. He does get the 1 lineout steal. For him, that's moderate, because I think he was a couple, at least in previous games. He's also got a try assist, which is a nice pop ball to Will Jordan. It's basically Will Jordan going through a big old gap, but he's the man who supplies the pass for that one. 11 from 12 tackles is also big. He's credited with 2 turnovers. One of those will be the line-out steal, and one of those was around the paddock. So, man, what doesn't he do? Sets up a try, gets run meters, gets tackles, gets lineouts, steals lineouts, everything. Tupavai having a really good run of things. Loose forwards, and goodness me, it's another Kiwi. Wallace Satiti. I think, like, as much as this Rugby Championship campaign for the All Blacks has not been phenomenal, Wallace Satiti has been one of the good news stories. We've had a bit of a question mark in our back row, and now there's question marks about whether he should be switching to number 8 instead of being number 6. But, you know, Blackadder's there making his tackles when he's fit, and the Finau experiment seems to maybe be over, because Titi, if you want an aggressive ball carrier, he's your guy. He is absolutely your guy. 19 carries. Kind of like Cody Taylor. Very, very busy ball in hand. 51 metres. And also has a big carry in the build-up to the Rico try. Kind of like Nokia for South Africa. You need those guys running those lines, and he's there for the ABs. Beats a defender, gets a clean break. 10 passes, so loving getting his hands on the pill as well, including the try assist pass, which is basically just catch and pass to Caleb Clark, but you got to find your man, and he finds him. And he's also, interestingly, New Zealand's top line-out man in this week's game with 4 line-out wins. He's got 10 from 11 tackles, so good defensive shift, wins a line-out, wins a line-out steal as well, which is pleasing. Does give away 1 penalty, but man, Satiti, he looks the business from what we've seen of him thus far. New Zealand theme stops for now, because I've got an Aussie. I got an Aussie on here, Fraser McReight. I was pleased to see him named in the lineup, and I was, chuffed with how Tizzano had been going for the Aussies. But there's a difference just in the way these guys play. Like, if this was Tizzano this week, he would have made 30 tackles, but he would have had 5 run meters. Whereas McReight, you let Wilson do a bit more of the tackling. McReight still has 17 from 18, which is still bloody good and more than most. But then you get from him 13 carries and 60 meters, first for the forwards in that game. So he's got 1 more meter than Cody Taylor and from fewer carries. So in that game, he's the top forward for just getting that ball up the guts. It's what he does, man. He's just... Other guys don't have that in their game. He gets a try, which is from a pretty slick line-out move, which is certainly a few of those meters. He's got a kick, which is a flippin' magnificent 50-22. A 22-22. Literally one of the best 50-22s I've ever seen in my life. Not that they've been around for that long, but that one was genuinely incredible. He's got 8 passes. Like, he keeps the tempo of the game high. Like, when the Aussies are right on the All Blacks line, there's no halfback there. The All Blacks are looking to pinch the ball, slow it down. He's the guy that gets there and then clears it. Doesn't want them to get turned over. So just into a bit of everything. Scores a try, gets the run meter, gets the tackles, gets a 50-22, passes. Man, he's some player. Fraser McReight. And then, goodness me, I need to get an Argentinian on the board. How have there been no Argentinians on the board just yet? I guess because their scrum was under the pump. It was never going to be into their front rows on the board. But Joaquin Oviedo, that's I think 2 weeks in a row I've put him in the team of the week, because he is a hell of a ball-carrying number 8. And he put in more of a defensive shift this week as well. I mean, for him to have 7 carries, 37 meters, and 4 defenders beaten against the Pumas defense, Bok defense, is pretty good. Like, I seem to remember Adi Savia in the last game against the Box had maybe like 16 meters because they're just real stingy on defense. They don't give up a lot of ground. Admittedly, it's a pocket team with 10 changes, but still, for him to get 37 from 7 carries, that's massive. He's the top Argentinian forward for ball carries. He also gets a clean break. He also gets the try assist with that miracle pop out of the maul, which is going into touch, which Sclavi's then able to burrow over from. That's some quick thinking and, not an easy thing to do. He's got 7 passes, and then I mentioned his defensive shift, 11 from 12 tackles, including 2 dominant tackles. Yeah, man, this guy looks the business. He's relatively new on the scene for the Pumas team, and he's looking really good. You guys also have got a lot of good Lucies in Argentina. So that's the forwards. Backs, number 9. Excuse me if I go through so many Kiwis, but Ratima had a good game, man. Cortez Ratima. He's got 8 defenders beaten, which is the most of anybody in that game, which is nuts. That is the number 9 who goes off after like 50-odd minutes. You would have thought it would have been somebody else, but no, it's him. 7 carries, 49 meters is a hell of a return. He's also got a try assist, which is the big carry, like kind of half break for the Rico Ioane try. So he's the kind of man who gets them on the front foot for that one. He's got 5 kicks, 73 passes, 4 from 4 tackles. Quick ball, man. It's nice to see a kind of zippy New Zealand halfback play it quick because you feel that plays into our strengths. New Zealand does well when opposition defenses don't have time to settle. So Ratima, yeah, I still think he's our guy for the moment. We've still got Roygaard coming back, so he'll have to withstand a challenge from somebody else for that black number 9 jersey, but he seems to be the guy at the minute anyway. Number 10, it's got to be a Pumas guy in Thomas Albornoz. Now, fortunately for him, Mani Libok misses that final kick because he missed a few kicks of his own. He kicked at 57%. He got 14 points all up, including a try, but had a few shots which went a-begging. For the Pumas, fortunately for him, it didn't cost them. But around the park, this guy's pretty incredible. 9 defenders beaten for him is the first this week. So for it to be your number 10 is also something unusual. This week's 2 leading game guys for broken tackles is your number 9 and your number 10. Like if it's DuPont, he usually does it a lot. I can't think of many 10s who are usually the leading candidates for defenders beaten. So Albornoz is right up there, 9 defenders beaten. He's got 2 clean breaks, which was also first in that game. He's got 17 carries for 62 meters. Like, he's making a half break break before the Mateo Carreras try. He gets a try of his own where he's got that kind of dummy on the pimpy. Hell of a game, ball in hand. 18 passes. He kicks well, especially when the Box had the yellow card to find space in the Box backfield. 7 from 9 tackles. No, for him it is 4 from 5 tackles. He does have 4 turnovers conceded, including like one where I think he kicked a dead kick out on the full. Like, not perfect from the boot, but attacking play. Very, very, very good play from Thomas Albornoz. So good shift from that man. Midfield. The Argentinian theme continues here at number 12, Santiago Chocobares. He also finishes with a try assist. He's got the line break, I think, after Albornoz, which sets up the Mateo Carreras try. So good one for him. Draw in fussy. Pass to your winger. Job done from him in the midfield. Only 3 carries for 40 meters, and largely that's the line break which sets up the try. But defensively, really solid. 12 from 13 tackles. Like, both the Pumas midfielders were good. Defensively shutting down the Bock attack. So 12 from 13 tackles, including 1 dominant one. Beats 2 defenders of his own. He's got the clean break, which is the one that leads to the try. 4 passes. So, yeah, really, really solid from him in the midfield. And I mentioned him. It's got to be Sinti. Even more defensively minded than Chocobares, interestingly. He's the top tackler of the game with 16 from 17. But the thing that stands out there is 5 dominant tackles. That's massive from a guy who's seemingly not that big, but he's very committed. To have 5 dominant tackles against the Box is pretty freaking good. 2 carries, 16 meters, beats a defender, just the 1 pass, also wins a turnover. Yeah, defensive powerhouse shift from Lucio Sinti. Helps keep the Bock attack kind of limited, apart from the early chances they got. More Argentinians, apparently. I got Mateo Carreras. Like, not many guys go head-to-head with Curtly Aronsa recent times and kind of come out looking the better winger. But Mateo Carreras got the wood on him this week anyway. He finishes with a try, which is the kind of finishing one for the Chocobares break. He also finishes with a try assist, where he's able to set up Matera. I think that's during the Bok yellow card period. So good one for him to also draw his man and set up the guy outside him. 8 carries, 63 meters, beats a defender, clean break, 5 passes, 7 from 9 tackles, including 2 dominant. Pretty good outing, man. He's got 3 turnovers conceded, but overall, very positive shift. Right wing. Where did I go with Sever Reese? I think he's genuinely the best right winger by some way this week. And no, by no means perfect from Reese, but the other right wingers, Dalgi, didn't get that much going his way. It was all going down Carreras' wing. Curtly Aronsa, as I said, second best on that side of the field in terms of the wings this week. And got himself yellow carded. And Callaway. Also, he's not really been tearing it up like we've used to seeing from him. So Reese almost gets it by default, but he's still got some pretty decent numbers, man. I mean, he also has a try assist. He's the one who pounces on that loose ball from the Wallabies, like the tip pass from Paisami. He's the one who pounces on it when it goes loose and gets it for Artie Savia's try. He's got 7 carries, 42 meters. That's a good return. He's got 3 defenders beaten. That's good. He's got 2 clean breaks, 6 passes, 6 from 7 tackles. He did kind of fall for the Paisami dummy when Paisami went over towards the end of the game. But, I still think Reese... And one of the turnovers considered is given away as one that didn't actually seem that much of a knock-on. But, yeah, overall, pretty good from him. And a kind of late switch up from the bench. And then fullback, I've ended up finishing up with another one of the Aussie boys. And Tom Wright, now that he's back installed at fullback for Joe, gets a try where he kind of beats D-Mac to the goal line, gives him a wee fend right before the end of the game. Gave the Aussies a chance to win it at the death. 17 carries for 126 meters is the most meters of anybody this week. 4 defenders beaten, his first equal for the Aussie guys this week. Also gets himself a clean break. 6 passes, but offensively, generally, just looked really, really sharp on attack. So I think he still is the kind of premier Aussie fullback at the minute. If you guys missed out on any of these games and you're in the States, they're on Flow Rugby. They've got this plus the URC in the top 14 and the NPC here in New Zealand and whatnot. But yeah, a few honourable mentions, I guess. Matera was really good for the Pumas as well. The Pumas back row in general is very good. Will Jordan for the All Blacks I thought was also really, really sharp. I mean, the fact that he misses out to right, you could potentially go with Will Jordan, one of his better starts at fullback for the ABs, certainly. I think McDermott came off the bench well for the Aussies. He set up a couple of their tries. Etzebeth also came off the bench well for the Boks and, helped steal a line out and whatnot. So, big shift from him and a record-equaling performance in terms of his caps. But yeah, that's the team of the week for this week. You guys let us know your thoughts on who you would be having if you were picking a 15. Subscribe to the channel. And there'll be more rugby content coming your way. You guys take care and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.